In this video, I am going to show you how to make a relative volume screener. We're going to do this in Google Sheets. In a previous video, we did make a moving average screener in Google Sheets. You will need to watch that first because we'll be pulling data from that moving average screener to make our relative volume screener. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you'll need to do is just have a tab. You can call it whatever you want. You can see I have mine called RVol here for relative volume. I probably should put a dash there, but that's okay. In cell H1, I1, and J1, just go ahead and type those in. And then go back to your moving average screener that you already made. We're just going to open up some columns where we did some work, columns C through H, and then go to your RVol tab and go into cell B1 and just type in equals, open curly brackets, go back to your moving average screener, and we're just going to grab columns C through H. Close curly brackets, enter. That'll bring back the data you need. Just make sure you go back to your moving average screener. This is just work area. We're looking up over here in those other columns, and just go ahead and highlight column C through H, right click on your mouse and hit hide column C through H, and that'll close your those columns. Now we can go back to the RVol screen. The next step here will be to go to cell H2, and we're just going to type in equals if air, Google Finance, and we're going to grab our ticker, comma, open quotations, type in volume, close quotations, close parentheses, enter. That should give us today's volume. Now, you're going to want to go ahead. I did this already. Just once you get that, go up to format, number, and just change this to a number so you get the comma so you know what you have. And you'll also come with decimals. You can decrease the decimals back if you want, so you have no decimals. Now we're going to get our 30-day average volume and then our relative volume. Okay, I cheated for the 30-day average volume because it's a very long formula and I just don't want to talk it out on the video. I know people don't like that too much. So this is the formula you need right here in cell I2. So you're going to be referencing this ticker to get your 30-day average volume. And if you want this to be, 10 days or 50 days, you would just change 30 to that number. So just keep that in mind. And now to get our relative volume, we're going to go over to cell J2. And we're just going to type in equals if air, and we're going to grab our volume, and then we're going to divide it by our 30-day average volume, and that gives us our relative volume. Now anything under 1 tells us that we have less volume than our 30-day average volume. Anything over 1 tells us we have more volume than our 30-day average volume. The idea is that anything over 1 could be the institutions are coming in with buying pressure. The higher above 1, the more the institutions are coming in, and anything below 1, there's not a lot of institutional buying or selling today. And that could be on the sell side or the buy side. It doesn't mean bullish or bearish. It just means institutions are doing one or the other at a larger scale than they have over the last 30 days. Now we are referencing the Qs, so there's only about 100 stocks, so you only need to drag this down to 100 if that's all you want to do is reference the Qs. But we have let's see here, 102 I need to drag that down to, and then that brings all of that in. Now if I change this to the SPY, we'll have 500. If you have an ETF with more than 500, you're going to want to drag that down even further. So that's why you use the if air function, because you can see if I drag this down even a couple more cells here, I don't get anything, but the formula is in there. So if more information comes in there, then I will get what I need for volume, 30-day average volume, and relative volume. Now, because we pulled this in alphabetical order over from our moving average screener, it's not in the order that gives us information really, with quick information for us to look at. So we're going to do a query. We're going to go into cell L1, and we're going to just type equals. I'm going to use if air query. And we're going to grab columns, all the columns here, B through J. So just make sure you highlight all of those, comma. Then we're going to open our quotations, and we're going to hit select, type in select, star, and we want to order by J. So J is our relative volume. I want to order by that column. That's why we're ordering by J. And we want to do it in descending order. Close quotations, comma, 1, close parentheses, enter. And now that should bring all of this table over into this table, but now we have it in descending order. So right now, we don't know if Tesla is up or down on the day based on the information we have, but we do know that Tesla has on the Qs the most relative volume of any other stock. In fact, it's the only one that's above 1. Netflix and Atlassian are just shy of 1, but Tesla is the only one that has more buying or more selling than it has over the last 30 days. But we're going to find out in a minute how we're going to get that too. So now that we know these are our work, this is also a work column. So we're just going to highlight all of these B through J and right click, and we're just going to hide those columns because we're not working off we're working off them. We're not using them to reference stuff. Okay, now we're going to start filling out this table right here with the previous close, the open, the price versus the previous close, the price versus open, the change from the previous close, and the change from the open. So we're just going to type in a formula here, equals, I like to use the if error, Google Finance, and you can reference the ticker here in L2, and then it's going to be comma, open quotations, close, yesterday. So that's going to be close, Y-E-S-T, close quotations, close parentheses, enter. That should give us our price from yesterday. So now we know the price from yesterday, and we are actually down. So that means people are selling Tesla. The institutions are selling Tesla at a little bit of a higher rate today because the price is down. So it would be a red bar on volume. If you were to graph it and you looked at the columns, it'd be a red bar versus a green bar because right now we are down from the previous close. So now we're going to go over into cell W2, and we're just going to type in equals if error because we want to get the open, and then Google Finance, and we are going to reference our ticker here, L2, comma, open quotations, price open is what you want to type in. Close quotations, close parentheses, enter. That should be the opening price of the day. So we are down currently from the open and the close of yesterday. Okay, so now we're going to get up or down if the price is up or down versus the previous close, and if it's up or down versus the open. So we're just going to go into cell X2 here, and we're going to type in equals if error, open parentheses, if, open parentheses, N2, which is our current share price, is greater than our previous close, comma, open quotations, we want up. Close quotations, comma, and then just quotations, down, quotations. Because if it's not up, we want down, then close parentheses. And if you want to just pause the video, that's the formula right there that you'll put in and hit enter. Now you can just drag this formula over because we want the same thing, but we will get one wrong thing because we're getting the 189 days. So we do just need to go back and put in N because we want N2. So we want it to be if error, if N2 is greater than W2, we want up. If not, we want down in cell Y2 here. Now we're going to get the change from the previous close and the change from the open. So that is going to just be equals N2 minus V2. We're going to put that in parentheses. So you want to close these brackets and then divide that by V2. And you can see we will highlight this column. You can see I get a 0.019. So highlight that whole column and just go up here and do format as a percent. Now we know that Tesla is down from its previous close 1.93% on the day. Now you could just take this formula and I believe you could just drag this one over as well, but we do need to change this back to, it'll pull this from N over to O, so you need to change the O in that cell to N. And it is down, and just make sure W2 are open. So we're referencing our open here. So equals open parentheses N2 minus W2 close parentheses divided by W2 will give you our percentage. So we're down 2.5% from our open. Our share price is down 2.5% from our open price, and it's down about 2% from our close price yesterday. Now we'll take all these And you're going to want to drag these down as however, like 1,000 or more. For this video, I'll just drag them down for the Qs, and it should give me some data. And you see that all lights up. Now what you can do here is you can highlight, if you want to format these, highlight these two columns, and then just right click, and we want to go to conditional formatting. And just move myself here. And what we're going to do is say if the cell is text is exactly up, then we want green. And I usually go like to this green. And then we're going to add another rule, and we're just going to change that to down. If the text is exactly down, we want red. Done. And now you can do the same thing for these two columns. Highlight Z and AA, right click, conditional formatting. And now what we're going to do is say if we're greater than 0%, we want green. We're going to add another rule and say if we're less than 0%, so you want to highlight less here, click on that. It should say format cells less than 0%, and then we want red. And hit done, and you should have what you need here. So now you know what stocks are up, which ones have relative volume, if they're down or up on the day from the close or the open. The last thing I like to do, you don't have to do this, you could end here, it's up to you, is I like to bring the relative volume back to the moving average screener. So when we did the moving average screener, we had one more column here that we left open, we didn't do anything with. So you can just call that RVol. And we're just going to do a VLOOKUP. We're going to type in equals if error, and then VLOOKUP. And we're going to reference the ticker here. Yeah, this is on our moving average screener tab in J2. So it's equals if error, VLOOKUP, J2, comma. And then we're going to go back to our RVol screen. And we are going to grab L all the way over to T, and we need to count these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We want the ninth column, so comma 9, comma 0, close parentheses, enter. And same thing, this comes in as a decimal, so highlight this whole column and just change this to format as a percent. And that's not right. I'm sorry, not format as a percent. Undo that. We want to just subtract out decimals. This is going to be a whole number, our relative volume. So we have 0.29 volume for Z-scaler. And just highlight right here between the exclamation mark and the L, and just hit the F4 key or Shift 4 or Command 4, depending on your computer, to put the dollar signs and lock in. And then just go ahead and drag this down. And for now, I'll just drag it down to 100 for this tutorial. And if I'm looking up any stock I'm looking up, or if I'm just quickly looking to see where a stock is and relative to its moving average, because the moving average screener, I have ascending order by how much it is above the moving average. You know, if I change this to -5%, we'll get all the stocks that are -5% or higher above their moving average. I can also see how much relative volume they have that day. Or I can go over here and I can look at my relative volume and if they're up or down on the day. That's it. That's all I got. I hope that video helped you. If it did, consider hitting the like, subscribe button, and thanks for watching.